You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. The Biden administration is endorsing a new bill to end the discriminatory disparity in sentences between crack and powder cocaine. The Equal Act, being sponsored by Senator Majority Whip Dick Durbin, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, and Ohio Senator Rob Portman, eliminates sentencing differences for cocaine and crack users. The bill also allows people who were convicted or sentenced for a federal cocaine offense an opportunity to be resentenced. During today's hearing, Senator Durbin asked Regina LaBelle, the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy Acting Director, whether there's any scientific rationality to reducing the unequal prison terms tied to the different forms of cocaine.
Acting Director LaBelle, from a scientific perspective, is there any rational justification for reducing the sentencing disparity?
Well, the scientific basis of both base cocaine, which is crack cocaine, and powder cocaine, they're similar and they have similar effects on the brain. The issue is how the drug is used. That's been the issue in the past. But really, the drugs themselves, the form of the drug is essentially the same.
I don't know if this illustration will be effective or not. First, this is flour. And this is an indication of the amount of powder cocaine that would result in the sentencing for this weighted amount of crack cocaine, 100 to 1. 18 to 1, I'm sorry, 18 to 1, which is an indication that if there's no science between the difference, the sentencing is dramatically different. I think that is the simple, direct point we're trying to make at this hearing.
Well, folks, you can always leave it to the white nationalist Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas to weigh in. You want to see what this fool actually tweeted? It's unbelievable. He actually said, he literally tweeted this: crack and powder cocaine both kill thousands every year, but penalties for selling each aren't the same. My bill increases penalties for criminals trafficking powder cocaine to ensure fairness in sentencing without granting early release to drug traffickers. I mean, everybody else understands how this should be going, Mustafa. But this is the same guy who a few years ago, who opposed the First Step Act, who actually said, we're not putting enough people in prison. That's who you're dealing with here with Tom Cotton of Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, Senator Cotton, you know, his last name tells you everything you need to know, but you know his track record. He has never been in support of anything that benefits folks of colors. And he also knows, so Senator Cotton is a bright man. I'm not going to say that he's a smart man. He knows that racism has driven the penalties that are associated with crack cocaine. Crack cocaine is cheaper, and so therefore, folks who have limited income and who are medicating, trying to escape their situation, utilize that. Wealthier folks have been able to afford powder cocaine, and that primarily has been the drug of choice for white folks. So he knows the dynamics that are going there. He also understands that there is a disparity and discrepancy and who will be able to have the legal representation to actually fight the cases that are against them. So he knows that Black and Latin folks are probably not going to be able to utilize the legal system to be able to fight and shorten their sentences. And he knows that Black folks, or excuse me, he knows that white folks will be able to. So that's the dynamic that's going on. We have to just be very clear, and we have to call it out. And we have to strip the racism out of the legal system. And this is one of those prime examples of where it was utilized to actually break up families, to strip wealth away from families, because locking folks up for decades upon decades upon decades is another way that you take wealth out of Black and brown communities. And of course, as I said before, it's a way that you also break up families, which also ties into wealth. So he knows exactly what's going on, and that's why we have to call it out.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. And my bottom line here is, Ben, Senator Tom Cotton has replaced Jeff Sessions as being the hard ass in the Senate. Let's just throw him in jail, throw him in, lock him up, throw away the key. And even other Republicans are going, no, that's kind of like not what we should be doing.
Yeah, there's no dictatorship that Tom Cotton doesn't like. There's no authoritarian state or police state that he's not a fan of, and this is right up his alley. He thinks he can play on the resentment complex that a lot of people have and say, oh, well, yeah, that's the right solution. Let's penalize wealthy people more, when in reality what Mustafa outlined is actually what's going to happen. White folks ain't going to go to jail for this. For tougher sentencing for cocaine. They've been able to get away with it for generations, for decades. They're not going to stop getting away with it now all of a sudden because the system is going to go harder on white people or cocaine in this case. The fact of the matter is the black people and poor people are going to bear the brunt of this. And he knows this, and that's exactly what he wants, because there is no authoritarian state that he does not approve of.
Indeed, that's exactly what's going on here, and so it's just laughable. It's continually laughable, Teresa, which is why you cannot trust these folks. Teresa, go ahead with your comment regarding, the discussion about, frankly, finally equalizing the sentencing disparities between crack and powder cocaine.
Yeah, if passed, it's long overdue. I think you'll finally start to see equal justice under the reform banner that every Democratic and some Republicans have been quoting that they wanted to see. I think in most times we have been seeing the disparities of black males going to jail for longer offenses for either dealing it or using it. And then we start to see the mental health skyrocketing. So again, I think there's an equal playing field when it comes to both substances. Again, it doesn't matter the ounce, but it does matter that the sentencing is, again, for black and brown people. And I think for Senator Cotton, to be a Harvard law graduate, I'm always looking at their education anytime they are elected, because it makes me wonder how these people are passing graduate school or law school with this type of mindset when we can't see clearly the disparity that is happening here in our country.
First of all, again, I need people to understand the reason I'm talking about Cotton, because this is the kind of person who has a vote. This has an impact on Republican policies. And so don't be surprised if you see more Republicans be hard asses having the exact same mentality of just throw them in jail, who cares? And the last thing we should be doing in this country is actually increasing sentences. That makes no sense whatsoever. Folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Steve got all these jobs, got all this money, got all these awards. He talk about God and the Lord and his wife all the time. So he was over here talking, and his wife was there, and I knew it was his wife, so I walked up behind her and gave her a kiss on the cheek. The projects in Steve came out in about 10 seconds, because he was like, I'm hearing some kissing over here. Who the hell is kissing my wife?
Well, Roland, you leaned into and you was doing it just to aggravate me, and I heard it out my ear, and I went, okay, man, I don't know who this brother is, but Essence is about to be different. And I spun, and it was the ignorant Roland Mark messing with me. But hey, man, you know how I feel about that girl. So it was quite interesting, and I had to apologize because the CEO of Essence was standing right there, and me and Roland almost turned the festival out. It would have been quite different.
Now, speaking of turn the festival, we also are always on our pocket square game. Always.
Now, I got to give Roland credit. We always battling each other for the different looks. Pocket squares are something we kind of specialize in. We try to make it. This is topping the game right now. This I've never seen. I will be stealing this look. As soon as I find the people from out of this country that he bought this stuff from, and I get a proper email, I'll be sending to China or wherever
Japan
or Yugoslavia, wherever they made this, and I will be looking. That is hot. I got to give it to you. That's the best pocket square I've ever seen.
Now, last piece. Steve is a big golfer. I'm a big golfer. So when we gonna have this golfing brothers thing?
See, Roland, you're trying to talk me into something that you've been doing a lot longer than I. See, you've been playing golf since college.
I took it as my PE at Texas A&M in '87.
See, right there, I picked up golf after Tiger won the Masters. And then I bought a set of clubs and played with a custom set of clubs for 5 years without a lesson. I can't tell you the bad stuff I've ingrained into this swing. I just now started going over the top. I just cut that out. Okay. So, and I'm playing good though. I'm playing good for me. Well, what's your best score?
77.
That'll never happen here.
Well, Rodney Green is working with him. He's our good friend as well. But
77. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm taking a full-page ad out in the USA Today.
All right, folks, don't forget this Friday, the virtual festival, Essence Fest Live Loud Virtual Festival begins this Friday. You can go to essencestudio.com, essence.com. The virtual festival will take place Friday through Sunday, and then, of course, it takes place again next weekend, July 2nd through the 4th. On Monday, we're going to have a recap of the first weekend of the virtual festival. Then, of course, on July 5th, we're going to have a recap of the second weekend.